Afternoon, Michael. Just starting off with some team news. First of all, can you explain maybe how long Patrick Dorgu could be out, and are there any other players coming back, like Joshua Zirkzee on the ties to that?
Yeah, Josh is back training this week, which is good news. Obviously first time, so he's been out for a short amount of time, but first kind of training with us since we've been here, so that's great to have Josh back. Pat, unfortunately, he's going to be out for a period of time. We're still working through that, how long that's going to be. But so we'll have to see. You know, disappointing. He's had such a big couple of weeks, Pat. So we weren't sure whether it was a little bit of cramp or whether it was something a little bit more serious. And at the moment, it looks a little bit more on the serious note. So it'll be a few weeks for that. How many weeks, we'll have to wait and see. But so that's disappointing for all of us, really, and for Pat. You know, he's in such a good place, but unfortunately it is part of football, and it's something we've got to work through and get him back as soon as we can.
And just on Delit, is he still a few weeks away?
Yeah, he's not trained with us yet, so just working through and the process really of getting him back as soon as we can.
Michael, when you look across the sort of last year or so for United, I know you've not been here that entire time, but you've watched a lot of the team. A consistent theme has been the struggle to win games consistently at Old Trafford. Do you know why that is?
I think ultimately consistency is the key to success, you know, and I think it's in my eyes, it's one of the most difficult things to achieve, to be good consistently rather. So yeah, it takes so much, you know. It takes a level of performance, it takes the level of mentality and the intensity and the concentration, and actually be able to cope emotionally with the ups and downs of what each game brings and moving on to the next. So there's so many things and that kind of go into it. And listen, that's what we're working towards. You know, we've had a great couple of weeks, 2 big results. There's bigger games coming up, and it's just keeping the mind in the right place as much as the emotions to be able to go into the next game just as we have done the previous 2.
I interviewed Lisandro Martinez yesterday, and it goes in line with what you were just saying there as well. He said that you touched his heart, and that meant that he'd give you everything. I wonder how much work you've been doing in this short time, capturing hearts and minds as well as giving tactical detail as well.
Yeah, well, you've got to play with feeling. You know, you've got to play with emotion, you've got to play with excitement, and so there's definitely that side of things, and it's something we speak about. You know, the technical side's one thing, but the things I've just touched on is totally something else. And the boys have been there, you know, in training and in games and in meetings and everything around the place. They've been there, and everything we've asked of them. And Leach has epitomised that in terms of how he's gone about every day, and certainly in the game. So, but we're definitely aware that. Of what it's taken to have the couple of weeks we've had. A couple of weeks is a couple of weeks, you know. It's good, but it's 2 weeks, and we're definitely aware that it's something we want to and we need to make extend for longer. So respecting the game, respecting what it takes to win games and how hard it is and how good a team Fulham are. That's definitely on the front of our minds.
Thank you.
Hi Michael, returning to Patrick for a moment, it's been reported it could be 10 weeks. Are you confident you're such a versatile player, the depth to cope with that?
Yeah, listen, obviously it's not ideal. It's not ideal, of course it's not. We don't want to lose good players from the group, but that's part of having a squad and assembling a squad to be able to cover certain things, and we've got players that can do that. Yeah, it's the nature of the beast, unfortunately.
It will naturally, some will wonder if you're going to move in the transfer market before the deadline. Do you see any movement incoming before Monday?
To be honest, I think we're just working through it. Never say never, of course, because a lot can happen, and situations can be thrown up. Sometimes it's in our control. Sometimes it's maybe something that's out of our control that we've got to deal with. So. You know, we're calm. I'm pretty calm. I think we've got, and we've shown what we're capable of doing as a team, and we'll just have to see what the next few days bring. But I'm definitely calm about it.
Michael, the general consensus has been that if anybody did come in, then somebody would go out. And you mentioned Josh before. He's the one who persistently gets linked with moves to Italy. Have you spoken to him about his future, or has he articulated what his desire for this window is?
No, I think Josh has just been trying to work to get fit and get back around the group, and it's been great to have him back training. And training yesterday with the group for the first time, that's literally as far as it goes for me and for Josh. You know, I'm looking forward to working with him. So that's it. Nothing else is needed to be said.
Darren?
Hi, Michael. Bruno signed for the club 6 years ago today. Obviously, everyone knows what a massive impact he's had. I'm just wondering if you could explain a bit about what you found working with him. And also, every summer now, his future gets thrown into doubt. Obviously, you made comments again recently about the club wanting him to leave. Do you feel like he needs to see evidence of progress over the next few months to commit to staying on again? Because obviously, for a player of his ability, he's not won enough, has he, at this club?
I think, first of all, I've seen the impact he had as soon as he got here. You know, I was obviously here, so I've seen it at close quarters, and he had a huge impact straight away in so many ways. You know, you could see the passion, you could see how much he wanted to do well. Straight away, you've seen the quality, and that's carried on all the way through. And his consistency, really, of performances, his level of performances, his willingness to always put himself out there and physically be able to do it. You know, I think there's a lot to credit him for in that respect. Listen, of course, we all want to win things. We all want to get better. We want to improve as a team. We want to be successful, and that's something we've got to work towards together. But Bruno's been fantastic since I've been here. He was fantastic when I was here before, so I've got nothing but good things to say about him.
Hi Michael, it's just on the subject of Bruno's future then. I mean, A, have you talked to him about it, and B, I mean, would you expect him to be here next year, or do you feel it needs Champions League football?
I think let's not get too far ahead. You know, we're working towards this game, and he's talking about the window now and closing in a few days. That's on the agenda a little bit, but my main agenda is getting through the game on Sunday with Fulham, and Bruno's fully committed. There's absolutely no issues at all. Things further down the line, obviously addressed towards the end of the season or whatever, but everything's positive at the moment. There's no reason to be any otherwise.
Rob? Hi Michael. Just on the Fulham game, an issue that's kind of predated some of the previous managers is United sometimes struggling to break down teams who come to Old Trafford and are happy to sit a little bit deeper. Obviously, that's not the way that City and Arsenal play. Does the messaging or the game plan change at all when you've got a team like Fulham coming in? And you also mentioned after the City game that you're not always going to have the big emotions like a derby brings up, and sometimes the players are going to have to do that themselves. Is Fulham kind of an example of that?
Yeah, I don't think we need to make too much of it, to be honest. I think we are where we are. I think what the feeling around the group, around the squad, and the results that we've had, the performances, and going into the next game, I don't think the past is too relevant in that respect. You understand it and what's worked before and what hasn't, but really it's I think the boys are in a good place going into the game. Tough game, really tough challenge. I think Fulham, Marco's got them really into a really good team, so it's I think this one, of all of a sudden it's a different game. It's Fulham, and just because we're at home, taking anything for granted is bang out of order, really. So it might be a case it's the same flow of the game as what we've had the last 2 weeks. No shame in that. We'll deal with the game, what's in front of us, and do whatever it takes for us to be able to come out on top.
Welcome back to Premier League Friday. Man United's transformation under Michael Carrick continued last weekend with victory at Arsenal, sending United into the top four. Ahead of hosting Fulham on Super Sunday, Carrick has sat down with Joe Tomlinson to reflect on that famous win at the Emirates.
Michael, thank you so much for joining me today. Nearly a week on from the Arsenal game now, and the scenes at full time were pretty awesome. From your perspective, sweeter as a manager or sweet as a player? Because you've done both for Manchester United now.
It's just different. I think it's certainly not a feeling you ever get sick of or you've ever had enough of. I think all that kind of everything you put into a game, whether you play or coach or managing, whatever it is, I think, and as a supporter, all the energy and the excitement, the passion, and everything that the will to win goes into the game. When you come out the other side in such an important one. And listen, late winners have always created the biggest emotion, really.
Yeah.
to get it in such a game was a great feeling.
That away end. I mean, your son was there, wasn't he? I saw Alessandro's dad in there. Your daughter was in there. They must have been bouncing from their perspective.
Yeah, for me, that's one of the biggest feelings of helping play a part in everyone getting that emotion. You know, that supporters come, pay a lot of money, travel, and support us everywhere. That's what they want. So to be able to give them that, that's probably the biggest thing that's came back to me even during the week when you see people in for that emotion, that excitement.
Feels like there's some real leaders in that dressing room as well now. We're actually sitting here today on the 6-year anniversary of Bruno's signing, so we should touch upon him and his impact on this club as a whole. Where does he sort of rank for you amongst some of United's best midfielders? Because his output is just unbelievable.
Yeah, and I'm not going to get involved in terms of where he's to others, but I think he's such an important part of this team, and he has been for 6 years now. And I was here when he came to the club, and seeing the impact he had, his attitude, his mentality, his willingness to kind of sacrifice and put himself out there every single time. The amount of games he's played, training, he doesn't miss an awful lot. Touch wood.
Touch wood.
But yeah, he's proved that for so long, and then his quality, his moments. He's a fantastic footballer. And, we're looking forward to building on what we just kind of started with the team, and he's a big part of that.
So that's Michael Carrick, but let's take a look at Bruno Fernandes. After 6 years at United, he continues to be the dominant creative force in the Premier League. Remarkably, the United captain ranks first for assists from set pieces, chances created and big chances created. His tally of 10 assists is 3 more than any other player. I mean, guys, we were just chatting about this, about Bruno and the fact that it feels like he's been there for longer. For me, right, if I think about Man United, I can't imagine them without him. Are we looking at a player that, when he does eventually depart from Man United, will he go down as an all-time Prem great?
That's a tough question, isn't it? He's been brilliant. I mean, when I think back to all the midfielders, especially that Manchester United have had, it's tough. But he's been excellent. And what I like about Bruno Fernandes is he had the chance to move abroad and take a lot of money. He didn't, because he felt like he had more to do at Manchester United, and he's doing that. In certain games, he'll grab the game by the scruff of the neck like a captain should do, and he really drives his team on. And they've been through, they've had a couple of wins, but it's been tough for him at Manchester United. I think they've had a real difficult period for years with all the noise surrounding it, and he fronts it up, I think, every game. He wants the ball, he's happy to make mistakes, he'll keep getting onto the ball. He tries to do a little bit out of possession defensively, which isn't his strong point, but I do think he's good captain material, and fair play to him. Like, I am a fan of him. He's definitely got bags of quality. I'm just thinking of the Paul Inces and the Roy Keanes, and I don't know if I can put him on that level. But
if United were to win a title, we would go down.
Of course, yeah. If they won the title, then he goes up there with the greats for me.
That's the thing, isn't it? I mean, we often associate greats of the game with what's their trophy cabinet like? What did they accomplish at the club? And for Bruno, unfortunately, it's been through a period of time in some ways that they've obviously struggled for success. Yeah, they've won an FA Cup here and there, they've won a couple of trophies, but not to the extent they used to. So it's a difficult one to answer. But what I would say is, you were saying, Ash was saying about him being a really good captain. I think he's matured into being a very good captain. I think initially it was a difficult one for him because you always look to him. He was their playmaker, he was their leader. But the frustration he showed and the way in which he conducted himself at times, I think, was not productive and wasn't very productive.
Detrimental to him as a player.
And his teammates around him, I believe. Yeah. But I think what he's done is he's improved massively. I think he's matured. I think he's taken on the responsibility. He's grown as a player, as a human being, and I think he's been exceptional in that regard. But also, look, as a player, his stats, what he's been able to do in a team at a time at Man United where they haven't had a good team. So the impact that he's had. Yeah. In a time when they've been way below the standards we've seen in the past. So you've got to give him a lot of credit because that is a top class player delivering in a team that has underperformed for such a long period of time.
Well, one of the Prem greats, of course, Roy Keane, he obviously had that famous line saying that Man United shouldn't give Carrick the job, even if he wins every game. I mean, how do you feel about that one, Ash?
Did he explain himself after that?
I'm not being honest with you, I don't know.
But
that's the line I know I heard.
Because I can't, I mean, you might disagree, but I can't understand why, if he won every game and and he did really well. Like, why wouldn't you give him the job? I know that, you know, there's a lot of names being bandied about, but for Manchester United, would you want an Oliver Glasner in there over a Michael Carrick? I think this is someone that knows the club. Obviously, we've heard all about that. He knows the DNA of the club.
And that's what they've been after for so long. Well, that's what the fans were asking for.
He's an intelligent man. He knows his football. He's obviously got a tune out of him in the last couple of games. If he continues this, then who better? I don't know why. Maybe because he's not a big name. It's not a Zidane or something. Yeah. But we've seen that We've seen that at Manchester United. We've seen it at other clubs where it doesn't always happen. So, for me, I think if you're a manager and you win your games, you get the job.
You would think so, right? But it depends on the bigger picture. Right, and
Mark wants Zidane.
No, not at all, not at all. I'm just looking at thinking. Well, you look at Manchester United, and what has been their plan? What has been their vision over the course of the last 5 to 10 years? And it's really difficult to work it out. Now they're trying to implement ways. They've got a sports director. Sort of Jim Ratcliffe is involved. You could argue to a large degree unsuccessfully in so many avenues. DNA, yes, but you're living in a DNA at a time where you had one of the best managers of all time in the Premier League, Sir Alex Ferguson, which is unbelievable what he accomplished at the club. But the game's moved on. So yes, the DNA is important, but how do you evolve it in today's football? Yep. And I think if you look at Michael Carrick and what he's done in the first 2 games, they played Manchester City in the derby and they played Arsenal. And he won both of those games and won them against Man City. They won it well. Yep. Against Arsenal, they backs to the wall initially. There's all different types of things happening in that game. Their fight was unbelievable. So you're kind of going, well, okay, don't jump to conclusions. Don't rush it. They've gone the old ex-player before in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, which had some sort of success. They've tried the biggest names in football. They've tried ex-players, and it kind of hasn't worked quite as yet. But that's not to say this won't work.
It's an interesting one that you mentioned, obviously Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos, right, let's say. So that Ineos era, if you look at the goal scorers at the weekend, all within the Ineos era and all part of the recruitment, Dorgu and Bumo, Cunha, I mean, Lamans as well. I mean, let's not forget, he looked fantastic even from those set pieces. He came out, was collecting it, looked solid. Do you think, actually, that maybe they've got this recruitment right this summer? There was a lot to be said about it at the beginning.
Interestingly, the recruitment goes hand in hand with the management, right? So they've clearly not got the management right. Yeah. Because these players are the same players they had under the previous manager. Yeah. And now they're showing a different style of football and a different type of quality. So the two have to go hand in hand. Yes, it seems like it's worked very well so far. They look like a different side. Yeah. Playing a different system, different voice, a guy that knows the club through and through, and clearly they're playing some really good football as well. So he knows a thing or two about playing football. And I think what's really, really important is you look at the people he's brought to the club, particularly for me, Steve, in terms of getting to finals, which is incredible. And I think that is underestimated how important that is.
You mentioned England as well, and a player that Steve Holland knows very well, Harry Maguire. Now, I will say that I was at the game, and you watch someone like Harry Maguire play in a match like that, and surely you're going, how can you not take this man to the World Cup? I mean, Ash, what do you reckon? Would you take him, or do you think his kind of time in England is done?
Absolutely, I'd take him. I'd take him, even if, let's say, you don't want to start him. I think in a tournament situation, you're there for so long. You're living in each other's pockets. You need people. You need some people that aren't going to necessarily start, but be good people around the camp, be good human beings. I think he's one of them. Yeah. Arguably, he should start. I wouldn't be against that either.
I would start Maguire and Gay if that was me. Genuinely.
But what my point about him going is, start him or not start him, but he definitely goes. He's got the experience. He's been around it for so long. I think he's a good person. He's a good leader. I don't think when you're picking a squad for a tournament, you can't pick everyone that he's going to start, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I would have no problem with him starting for England, especially when he's in form like that, when he's playing. But if he doesn't start, he's not going to throw the toys out the pram. He's going to, get the group together. And I think you need those bodies because it's such an intense. A World Cup is so intense.
Bit of a leader.
Yeah, leader would settle everyone down and keep everyone professional and upbeat. I think Harry Maguire goes for me.
Look, there's 3 months to go, right? Yeah. Currently, if you pick the team right now, the squad, yes. But there's 3 months to go, right? So I'm a big firm believer you pick your best possible players, but you've also got to find a way of how they're going to work together. There's no point picking the best players without understanding of how you're going to put them together.
Yeah, of course.
You know, you've got to have the right balance.
Yeah.
But
that
I agree.
What Ash is saying.
I agree with what Ash says,
yeah.
right? Look, he's been a leader. What he's endured at Manchester United, the criticism, the way he's picked himself up each time, the way he's kept his head down and worked his socks off, is a real credit to him and his mental strength. England, I don't think he's ever let England down, let's be honest. I think he's always been very good for England. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you take him if he's continuing this form?
Scored one of the greatest England penalties I've ever seen.
Thank you, Leroy. Look forward to seeing that in a bit. But right now, let's get straight to what was arguably the match of the weekend. Ian, Arsenal, title-chasing Arsenal at home to a new manager team in Manchester United, and the game didn't disappoint.
Not at all, not at all. And it was really interesting to see how Arsenal will deal with the pressure. Man United under Carrick, they feel like they've got a momentum, they've got a little bit of a confidence. It seems like the players play with a smile. We haven't seen that under Amorim. And now Carrick brought something that we used to see in old United. They enjoy it, they smile, and they use the right players to win games. And it was a great game to watch. But for me, the concern was Arsenal, and especially with Jesus and Saka and Trossard, you know, goals. We're talking about what Arsenal is standing at the moment. They score a lot of goals, but set pieces. Sometimes that's not enough. In the big games, and especially when you play Man United with the confidence, you need more than that. And that was interesting to see how Arsenal was going to react and what Man United will do to put that game to bed.
Well, you mentioned the two teams just a moment ago, and these is what the managers sent out. I think pretty standard for Arsenal. I think that's arguably his strongest team at the moment. There's a talk of whether Trossard is Martinelli. People along them lines are his strongest team. Jesus, Gyökeres, again, the strong performance by Jesus in the week in Milan obviously led to him starting this game. So I thought Arsenal are quite predictable. And Manchester United off the weekend before against Manchester City with this team, those two operating at the top of the pitch more often like that, actually, wasn't it? Especially when they were defending as a front two was how the manager set them up.
Yeah, and it was great. Carrick obviously have found out what was Man United missing, playing the players in the right areas, use the strengths of the players. I mean, Dorgu, Ahmad, you know what, they're brilliant. They've got the pace, they've got the intensity, they can actually go up and down. Yeah. They've got the energy and the physicality to actually do that. But what you've got with Mbeumo and Fernandes, you've got a very intelligent player as Fernandes. You've got Mbeumo, who is not just intelligence, but he's got speed. He knows when to make the runs into the space. And I'm sure that Carrick has looked at Arsenal and they know one thing. They play high. There's going to be plenty of spaces. How are we going to use that space and try to punish Arsenal?
Well, let's have a look at exactly how they set up. And I did think in the previous week against Manchester City, I thought Manchester United's first thought was to run forward. I thought it was to try and get in behind a high line of Manchester City, and we saw the exact same thing in this game. This is early in the game. Arsenal started particularly well on the front foot. United getting behind the ball, but obviously Casemiro comes out and tries to deflect, and we saw the exact same thing in this game. This is early in the game. Arsenal started particularly well on the front foot. United getting behind the ball, but obviously Casemiro comes out and tries to deflect that ball going into the box. The ball's in the air, and already I'm seeing the body language of Mbeumo already thinking about moving forward. There you see it, Ahmad already moving forward. You're going to see in a moment Bruno Fernandes thinking about moving. They haven't even got the ball yet, and you just see they're off. Kobe Mainoo brings it down brilliantly, and just look at the hunger to get forward, the desire. There's no thought of coming towards the ball.
Man, Osman, both of us played, yeah? Where you can hurt teams, the space. Play the space, use the space. Which player can hurt you? And that's what's happening. Mbeumo, he don't even think about it. He's not thinking about coming short, you know? Yes, coming short, playing with the ball, hold the ball is no. My first thing is that I'm off. I'm going to stretch that team. This was brilliant because if you can look at every single Man United player, they're already thinking, we're pushing up. Yeah. We're going up. And this is something that Michael Carrick got, is like, we're breaking teams. We can be under pressure. We look solid because Man United, until they won the game, the ball, they look solid. but what is the next phase? And this is what Man United make it perfectly that. This is a little bit unlucky, but you can see, if we can stop it here, if we can go back and stop it, Leon, is when that ball is played, play a little bit forward, and then we can stop it, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Look at how stretched is this Arsenal team. This is what Man United want. They want to take what Arsenal likes to do. They like to be compact. They like to play with short passes. They want to dominate the game. They want to be in control. This is Arsenal not in control. This is Arsenal overstretched, on the back foot. And this is what Man United done pretty much all the way to the end.
Yeah, and even in that, Manchester United actually outcover Arsenal. They've got Arsenal stretched and still outcover in those moments. But it was a theme. You know, this is that moment again. This is a clear moment in the game. Harry Maguire just wins the ball back. It's on its way to Bruno Fernandes. And look at the look between the two of them. He's looked already. And Buemo is in that position. They're always never too far away from each other. You know, this distance between the two of them is never particularly far.
We mentioned it earlier at the start, the cleverness from Fernandes and the pace on Buemo. It reminds me of your game. You used to be that clever. You used to find little pockets, but you play. But this is what it's all about, how you can hurt your opponents. And that's what Fernandes and Buemo can do. One can find the pass, the other one can run into space. But this is where Man United is really... Look at the way they're set up. If you can highlight all the forward players, I can do it for you, but... but if you can look at it, now Man United are looking actually to pin down Arsenal. What Arsenal like, the centre-halves, they love when they have a big striker. They'll love if they have Sesko there because they know what to do.
Yeah.
But and Buemo,
someone was in there.
Yes.
Right up against them. They'd be able to go and mark them.
And you know the good thing is, they will be more narrow. It won't be that space between them where you can play the ball. When the players can actually move freely into the inside the pitch, and they can stand between those lines because there's enough space.
Yeah, there's no way of him being able to come into that position.
No.
There's no way of him being able to come into that position, is there?
And this is the most dangerous position. This is where Michael Carrick was really clever with that. But Man United player, they were patient with it. They were waiting for it. They knew what moments they wanted to use.
And this was a good moment. This was as they'd grown into the game, they'd weathered Arsenal's early storm. But what I liked about this was the pockets of space they're getting into. Kobbie Mainoo and Casemiro mixed it up. We just highlighted that, the way they're all spread across. Look how brave they're being in possession, getting forward. But what I did like was the fact that on this occasion, we've highlighted previous ones, Buemo going forward, Bruno going forward, but also able to come into spaces. On this occasion, it's the opposite way around.
Yeah.
And Buemo's come short, so that meant Bruno goes in behind, and they're actually really unfortunate not to get something.
And that chance come from literally just patient build up and play, and he should score that one. A great opportunity. But you know the funny thing, Mino as well is he's that number 6 who bounce off it. Everything bounce off him. But this is another thing that you're talking about. Look at the way Arsenal is. They're overstretched. This is not a comfortable Arsenal, way overstretched. This is like a simple ball. But what Man United does is, like, what is your next stage? How do we press? When do we press? When do we engage? And this is something, this is interesting. If you can look at Dorgu, you figure Fernandes, you can do it in Buemo, is that they're waiting for it.
Yeah.
When you have players behind you and you know they're set, they're not out of position. They're ready to do what you do. The front line of pressing, and this is what happened. If you play, look, this is well balanced.
Yeah, and the communication, I've just tried to highlight there, the communication going on with these two. They've just lost the ball. Now it's about how you get set up. We've talked about it before.
Yeah.
The main concern is probably that kind of position.
Not at the moment. Not at the moment. By everything develops, you will see how Man United actually adjust. You'll see, what he does. Look at it if you play slowly, you can see, what he does. All of a sudden you realize one thing. If you can stop it now, there is the danger. I need to stop that.
Yeah.
Why? Because you already have if I can press the numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players, yeah? Is that right?
Yeah.
There's no 5-1 come out.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. There's a 5 players. How many is Man United players there?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, up until this point, they've got 1 top of 5 in this half, yeah.
So they're actually taking Arsenal from their comfortable zone. Is when do we press? We can actually go man for man here. And this is something that is very interesting, is how brave Man United is. And where they're going to put Arsenal in the back foot, and we're going to see that by playing
Kobe
this.
Mainoo and Bruno Fernandes stop that pass into an Odegaard in there. If that pass happens, people are out of the game, but it doesn't. They're able to stop it. They're able to force Arsenal backward. I do think, at this point, I think once Subamendi gets the ball, I think you realise we're under a bit of pressure. I do think somewhere somebody's got to go, well, I'll tell you what, we're under a bit of pressure.
Taking
I'll play
responsibility.
forward. I'm going to play forward. I know I'm going to risk the ball. I'm going to play a percentage pass because we're in a little bit of trouble. But they don't see that. They play backwards.
Look at the reaction.
Manchester United do brilliantly.
And this is something that, and this is a great finish. Don't get me wrong. You have to press. You have to be in the right area. You have to do the right things. But when you get that opportunity, you have to be clinical. You have to finish it. He done it with confidence, and he's been brilliant.
Oh, it was an outstanding finish. And talk about outstanding finishes. Manchester United had 3. I mean, there were the 2 in the second half that could potentially be in the goal of the season candidates for Manchester United, possibly for the league, especially Dorgu's goal, to be honest. I mean, United, this came after a strong spell of 5 minutes where they had the majority of possession. They were asking an awful lot of questions. Just seeing a forward run from Bruno Fernandes, little bit of interchange, Dorgu coming into positions. You're going to see that happens so often, which creates space. I do like so about it, but the goal itself, Stan.
What I liked, let's see it in the full flow, because it's a great goal. if we bring it back from the start, you see, if we can stop it here, that'll be unbelievable. Look at what they've got now. You've got Mbumo, who loves to run into space, yeah?
Yep.
He loves that. But then you've got a one player that is actually brilliant. This guy, Bruno Fernandes. What he does is in the right area. Why? If I play with you, Leon, what I will do is I will play the ball to your feet. Why? Because you're great with it. You know
I couldn't run.
No, you could run, but your strength is like, you can see the game. If I play the ball to you, I know the ball will be back. I can bounce off you. I can get in the position where I can hurt the opposition if I have a pace by using you. And this is what's happened. Look at what's happened. 1-2, 1-2, a simple thing. And Dorgu, when he's got the opportunity, what a strike.
Yeah, I'm not sure he'll hit many better than that. I mean, we thought his goal a few weeks back, volley at Old Trafford, was special, but this one, circumstance, the moment, to get his team back into the lead at that moment was remarkable. And he knew it. I think his reaction would tell you that that he enjoyed that moment.
It seems like in that moment, everybody's enjoying it. Man United have a structure, how to play going forward, what to do. And they don't only have plan A, they've got plan B as well. If Carrick makes a couple of changes, they've got another option. And it's a simple option.
Yeah, I agree. But I thought one of Michael Carrick's positives that came out of the game, I mean, the way he set his team up, the way it was last week, the way things materialised during the game, I thought at 2-1, it had to make a change. They had to take off Dorgu, and he put Sesko. There was talk that he would put another defender on, another holding midfield, maybe try and kill the game at that moment, but he put Sesko, partly probably to try and defend set pieces. But that didn't half pay off when once they went to 2-2, because he can do this. He can compete for the ball, he can fight for it, which meant United can get bodies around him. United can go in search of the next goal.
Yes. And look at where Arsenal is. Saliba, look, he's about 10 yards back. What are you defending there? What are you defending there? The problem is, we talk about plan A and plan B. This is his plan B. I don't mind going long, going direct, put pressure on Arsenal, get my players to be around there and play off second ball. Then we've got enough quality to go and punish them. And this is what happened in this moment, exactly.
Well, it certainly does. And again, no surprise, Bruno Fernandes involved. Great body position from Cunha. Lovely little spell again. I just want to point out the run from Sesko, what Michael Carrick's got in the mind. No thought of coming bouncing in. Run these defenders away. Create space for players in these pockets here. And actually now, when you've got someone like Cunha who, 2 games, he started on the bench on both occasions, and yet he's come on with this freshness, this brightness, this real belief. Assist when he came on last week, win and goal in this game, and he's just sort of indicative of what's happening at Manchester United at the moment.
Game changers. Yeah. That's what Matt Carrick will look for, a game changers. In any time of the game, being under pressure, dominating the game, I need a game changers. And against Arsenal, Man United had plenty of game changers there.
Yeah, well, let's have a look at the man who's made the difference at the moment. Just touch on his record at Manchester United, which is pretty impressive. It's got to say, not just the results against high-profile teams, but look at the managers who he's been up against.
He's done a great job. He's done a great job at Middlesbrough. Not many people paid attention. I had a chance to speak with Michael not long ago. We end up in the same party, but that's and he was so passionate about being a manager, being a coach, about innovation in football and what he wants to achieve. Mm-hmm. You can see he's got the fire, and I'm sure having that opportunity and having this behind his CV, he'll look into saying, I can do a great job here. And why not?
Absolutely. So, very positive about Manchester United. Congratulations to them in that result and how they're headed at the moment. But we have to talk a little bit about Arsenal. We have to touch on a team that is certainly been probably the most dominant in the league this season, going for the title. They've certainly hit a little bump in the road.
They are. And I hate when they say it's now or never.
Yeah.
The pressure, and I'm sure Mikel Arteta, he won titles and, he won cups. That pressure, that sentence, what it means, now or never. The players will be reading that and they will be going, we're under pressure now. And the problem is now, Aston Villa are pushing, they're winning. A lot of people are asking questions about can they do it, cannot do it. But the main concern there will be also Man City being there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the goals in this game, there was an own goal, another goal from a set-piece situation. They're really sort of struggling to break teams down from open play. They keep getting in good positions, I think. They keep getting the moments that I actually think other teams would really be clinical and take advantage of. But in this moment, this is pretty much a 4v3. Manchester United are scrambling to get back. Only Harry Maguire's set and ready, and yet Arsenal don't even really end up with a proper effort on goal. It could have been passed wide to start with. It could be flashed across for Saka running in. I keep seeing sort of wrong decisions, or decisions that certainly aren't helping them get goals.
Wrong, sloppy, looking for that perfect goal. When you've got that opportunity, when you play such a big game, it's magnitude, what you do is you take your chances. You make sure certain ways of winning the games is, but sometimes you'll have half a chance. But it all depends how you react, how you think, and how you use it. What Arsenal did is just they take that extra touch.
Yes.
Is that I wanna score that perfect goal. I wanna get to that right position. On the other hand, Man United was saying every time we've got a chance, we have to take it. Doesn't matter where is it from, and that's the problem for Arsenal is. But also, everything was slow. Everything was that extra time, that extra touch that you wanna take. And if you look at it, Man United made it difficult for Arsenal. It's not just Arsenal. Man United, their reaction of the ball was incredible.
Yeah, I mean, that could have been filtered into a better position. There could have been some sort of efforts on goal. Credit, I mean, for most of the Arsenal clips, I'm quite critical of how slow, ponderous they've been, but credit to Manchester United, they've just had a corner kick. And that is all 11 players back inside their own penalty area within the blink of an eye. In Arsenal, what does it end up with? 5 in there compared to all 11 of Manchester United's. And, you're talking about sensing moments, sensing opportunities, trying to take them, trying to be aggressive. I think Arsenal are happy to kind of play a little bit slower and a little bit... Are they becoming predictable?
Very predictable, very predictable. Now you know what to expect from Arsenal. You know that you have to take risks. You have to be able to press, to be aggressive against Arsenal and take your chances. But this is what Man United, they were quite comfortable. Even when they have to face their goal and run back, they're quite comfortable with it. Mm-hmm. Arsenal were going. We haven't seen any of the Arsenal players to go behind, just to go there. Just go, stretch them. Let's see what they can do. Look at that, they're staying in one line. They're very predictable, as you mentioned. And what Man United is saying, we're going to take that risk. We're going to count on you having an off day, but we won't back up. The soon you don't exercise, don't take the opportunity, we're going to punish you.
Yeah, I thought that Manchester United are very good. Arsenal just kept on making it easy. You talk about making runs in behind. There's Declan Rice with good possession of the ball. I'm not seeing enough of the demand to say, come on, play the ball over the top. I'd like to see Eze a bit more aggressive in a position. I think he's quite slow in the way he sort of gets the ball forward. And when you're getting it there instead of there, suddenly you have to turn back. He has to turn back here because the position and how hard Manchester United are working. And suddenly look at United's position now.
Look at it now. They were very well organised. I mean, if I'm Man United at the moment, it's like, I'm very well set up. You're not going to hurt me. They won't play the ball to Gyökeres. They won't play that ball here. They won't. They never do. The two centre-halves, you can see that they don't even pay attention because that ball is not going there. So they're quite happy. If the ball go wide, I'll go and back it up. I'll double up. I'll make sure I'll do my job because that ball is not coming here. And they do become very predictable.
Yep, they do. And I just think even when they get into this position, I used to think that, you know, a Manchester City or an Arsenal would get you into this position, they'd lock you in. But I felt there was penetration. I felt there was forward passes. I felt that there was real sprinting runs to get him behind. As a good balling, could maybe have took that on the back foot. I think this now, Timber, do they want him to be one-on-one? Or do they want Jurrien Timber to make a real positive run in behind? Well, let me tell you, none really happened.
No, there's no energy. There's not that drive that Arsenal had. Is like, I'm going to get there. I want to get that goal. Unfortunately, even with the cross, it was a poor cross.
Nobody on the move?
No. Everybody's static. And this become a little problem in the last couple of games for Mikel Arteta and Arsenal.
So, these are the open play opportunities, XG, that Arsenal have created this season. They should have 25.69 goals on, according to XG. They've got 24. So even though they're not creating as many chances as the teams above them, they're also not scoring as many chances. I think Manchester City have got 39 or 40 goals comparative to their XG. So they're outperforming. Arsenal are creating lower and underperforming.
Yeah, it's very, I know we can look at stats, we can look at a lot of things, but what we've seen from Man City and we've seen from Man United, even with Liverpool, is players gamble. They score goals from unpredictable situations. With Arsenal, it's like, as you say, more predictable. You know what's coming.
Yeah.
And if on the day, we both play out, sometimes it don't work out. It just don't work out. And you don't have your moments. And if you not be able to be different and creative, then it becomes a problem.
Well, talk about not being creative, not doing something out of the ordinary. This alarmed me. This is a team going for the title, and those are 5 of your most attacking players.
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier when I saw first the Arsenal team. It's a bit of concern about goals and how you're going to get goals. You need big players, game changers. That's what Man United have got at the moment. If you look at that, it's not just a concern. This is a big problem. This is a big problem Mikel Arteta have to address. I mean, I don't know, do you know the stats or have you ever had an idea what to win the league?
To win the Premier League, there is, for every Premier League team that's won the league, the least amount, or they've had a goal scorer that scored at least 13 Premier League goals. Arsenal have, I think it's Gyökeres and Trossard on 5 each at the moment. They're a long way off getting to that kind of standard of goal scorer that does bring you back the Premier League title.
Of course.
And this is also a concern as well. These are 2 games against 2 big teams now for Arsenal. At home to Liverpool, at home to Manchester United. Against Liverpool, they went 47 minutes, 8 seconds without a shot against Liverpool on target. Against Manchester United, with 52 minutes and 40 seconds. They're just not creating moments.
No moments and no opportunities to win the games. And this is something that sometimes when the team struggle to score goals, you have to find a solution. And your solution is sometimes changing your plan. Sometimes it's not working. And sometimes in the Premier League, a lot of managers and clubs, they understand. By end of the season, they know how to play against you. They know how to use certain things. And at the moment, it's coming that part of the season where Arsenal have to find a solution. And at the moment, they don't have that solution.
Well, they don't.